Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about 5 things that, being here, living in Flagstaff my whole life, that I hate about Flagstaff. I know on this channel we talk about a lot of the good stuff, but we also got to bring you the bad and reveal and cover the truth about Flagstaff here. So we're going to get right into it in this video. We're going to talk about the 5 things that I hate the most about living in Flagstaff. What's up, everybody? This is Jason with the Shafor real estate team here in Flagstaff, Arizona. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about working, eating, sleeping, living right here, playing right here in Flagstaff, then make sure you tap that subscribe button so you're notified every time we do a new video. And honestly, we get people calling us every single day who are relocating here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving, relocating, or coming here to stay, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, nights, weekends, anytime. We got your back when it comes to moving here to Flagstaff, and we want you to know that. So let's get into it today. We're going to talk about 5 things that I absolutely hate about Flagstaff, and if you're thinking about making a move here, I think you should know these things. So let's go into the very first thing that I hate about Flagstaff. And as I'm making this video here in the spring of 2022, it's windy outside right now, and that is the wind, okay? So Flagstaff can be super windy, and the springtime is probably the windiest time of the year. And actually, we had an extremely windy winter. It feels like it's been blowing nonstop here since, seriously, January, just nonstop wind. And the winds will be really bad in April, May, and June. And it doesn't seem like the wind will really let up until the monsoon season starts, which is the first week of July. So pretty rare to get any non-windy days in the springtime. Yesterday was blowing about 40 to 50 miles an hour on a Sunday, kind of ruined the day. It wasn't very nice. The winds was howling. It was just miserable. So Flagstaff can be extremely windy, especially in the first 6 months of the year. That is one thing that I absolutely hate about living here, is dealing with that wind. And I think a lot of the residents, people who live here right now, would agree with that, especially if you live on the east side of Flagstaff, the Doney Park Timberline area. I know a lot of residents out there that they're just used to it. It's just part of life. It's a little windier out there. There's not as many pine trees. The wind comes whipping through between Mount Eldon and the San Francisco peaks, and it's like a little air tunnel out there. So number one, the first thing that I can't stand is the wind. So we'll go on to number 2, which is probably the biggest one I've been hearing the most complaints about, and that is the traffic. So we've experienced a tremendous amount of growth here in Flagstaff. The traffic is absolutely horrendous. We don't have the road systems to keep up with the traffic. If you go down Route 66, sometimes it can take you 20 minutes just to go a couple miles. It's worse than traffic you'd experience in a big city. It's the same as rush hour in Phoenix, really, in a metro area. So it's been a big problem, and they're always trying to do road construction. Currently, they're doing road construction on the interstate. It's down to single lane, so a lot of people are getting off before they hit it, and they're driving through town. Excuse me. So they're driving through town, and it's mayhem all the way through Flagstaff right now. The traffic is really bad. Route 66 just takes forever. They're trying to do stuff to combat that. They're doing some overpasses, some bridges over where the railroad tracks are at, which has helped. I know when I was a kid, they didn't have the 4th Street overpass, and I couldn't imagine if we didn't have something like that. It would be a nightmare trying to get through town at the current rate that it's grown. So the one thing that I really don't like about Flagstaff is traffic, and I think most people here would agree that it's becoming out of control as of recently, and there doesn't look to be any relief in the future, anytime in the near future at least. I know they're working on some plans at the city, but we're talking years of road construction, years of worse traffic that goes along with that. So Let's get on to the third thing that I hate about Flagstaff, and that is going to be what's going on right now is the allergies. I've had allergies my whole life as a kid growing up here, and that's why you see me kind of sniffling my nose on this video right now. As I'm making it, it's springtime, it's windy, there's a lot of pollen that's in the air right now. It started back in February with a lot of different people, allergies starting then, and it seems like everywhere I go, whether I'm at the gym, talking to people, there's allergies. Pollen, it's just been a miserable allergy season. And then what you get starting usually at the end of May and into the first part of June is we get the pine pollen season. So we got the green pollen from the pine trees. It gets all over your cars. It's just a really fine yellow dust. You'll see it everywhere. And it's pretty nasty, and it can be probably some of the worst allergies I've ever had is when that pine pollen drops and it gets in your lungs and in your nose and everything. So that's it's just miserable. And then when the monsoons start, it kind of washes a lot of the pollen away, but we have a second allergy season that's about September. It seems like when some of the wildflowers start to die off, and it just seemed to put a lot more pollen in the air. There seems to be one little last wave of allergies toward the end of the season. So allergy season can be super bad here in Flagstaff because we have the pine trees, but on the east side, we have a lot of cedar trees, junipers. We have a lot of different grasses, weeds. So any time of the year, you could really be subject to allergies. So that's one thing that growing up here, and still to this day, it gets me. My dad, same thing, is allergies can be absolutely horrible here. So the fourth thing kind of goes back into what I talked about on number 2 is the traffic, and that is trains. So there are some areas of town, so Route 66 and the train tracks, they go parallel each other all the way through Flagstaff. Now, that's how Flagstaff got discovered. That's how it got its name. It was a railroad town back in the late 1800s, and there was a Flagstaff where they stopped to pick up the logs. So it just got the nickname Flagstaff. Now with the train has not moved out of town, and we've built the entire city around it. So that's a problem, especially in downtown. You've got the railroad track got the crossings there. Sometimes you can hit 2 or 3 trains in a row. It could stop you for 15, 20 minutes. It's a nuisance. One of the good, at least the bright side of it is they used to be required to honk their horns when they drove through town. So a lot of residents would complain about how loud it was. They'd wake up in the middle of the night because the train conductors would blare their train horns driving through town. They don't do that anymore, thank God. But the trains will definitely cause you some delays on your appointments, taking the kids to school, picking them up, all that kind of stuff. And you hit those doubles. Sometimes I've had the triple trains hit, or they start moving real slow, and they could take a long time to get and cross through those railroad crossings. So they're just really a pain in the butt. I wish they would have moved it out of town, but it was millions and millions of dollars. It was on a ballot petition probably about a decade ago, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon. So you want to consider that if you're thinking about moving to Flagstaff. Trains, no good. Now the last thing that I hate about Flagstaff, and this might sound a little weird. I'm kind of a little mountain wussy, but it's cold here. Flagstaff is probably the coldest city in Arizona, period. So a lot of people think Arizona, they think cactus, sunshine, and while we do still get a lot of sunshine here, it gets cold here in Flagstaff. We're into May now, and we're barely creeping into the 70s, and then tomorrow it could be snowing. I'm going to my kids' Little League ball games, and I'm still wearing a down jacket to the games. It's windy. You can feel the wind cutting through you. I feel like you don't put the jackets away, but maybe 3 months out of the year, and you always got to have a jacket on. So Flagstaff, definitely, it's cold here. The winters are cold. They're long. We're kind of over it. Today, it's the second day of May. It's still a little chilly. I'm going to my kids' baseball game tonight, and I'm definitely going to be bringing a jacket. It's going to be cold. So Flagstaff stays cold, and it starts to warm up by June. It'll get warm by Memorial Day. But 2 years ago on Memorial Day, it snowed here. So one thing in May in Flagstaff, it may snow, it may be sunny. It may be 20, it may be 70. You don't know. So those are the 5 things that I just really don't like about Flagstaff. So I thought it was valuable that I share those things with you guys, because while there's good things about Flagstaff that I love, there's also things that I don't love so much. So if there's any need, you guys have any more questions, all my contact information is below. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We're always here to help you guys. Have a great day.